Well, howdy ho, and today I got an Ontario to show y'all. And nope, it's still not a rat. I still don't actually have one of those. But it's a Shikra. I actually got this guy quite a while ago and just completely blanked on doing much of a review on it, I think. This guy is kind of interesting. It's an Os 8 steel, which is, it's basically right around 440C, which, it's not super spectacular. It's not like their D2 models or whatnot. But what is interesting is that this is a $40 knife that you get natural micarta and titanium. So they had to cut costs somewhere. It had to be the blade. Makes sense, I suppose. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting little guy so far. You got a reversible pocket clip, only right side, so yeah. Sorry, but it is pretty difficult to mount directly into nothing but micarta. And as you can see, there's no liner on the other side there. So that would be why that happens. You got kind of a little hole punch sort of thing for lanyard hole, but there's no barrel or anything there. So, it might be a little harsh on your cords and whatnot. Got a flipper tab, pokes out fairways and a little bit curved up. Makes it very, very comfortable to flip out, but it does poke into a little bit of stuff in your pocket. Generally, I don't mind a lot of that because I'm going to have, well, yeah, I guess it really depends on how you have it. I mean, usually when I have it in my pocket on my right side, it will be all the way back, so it could technically poke into some stuff there, but I generally wear some pants with fairly large pockets on them, so like Carhartt and whatnot have you. So I generally don't have a problem with this hitting my keys, but my keys still do jingle in my pockets. So whatever. My card on this guy's got a couple of milling things on there, which is pretty interesting. It's okay Micarta. As you can see from the milling, and I have touched this up a bit. It's not the absolute most luxurious micarta on the market, but that's perfectly fine. It still serves its purpose quite well, and it's nice and grippy. It's not polished or anything like that, and yeah, it does a pretty darn good job. I do like the black stonewashy kind of finish that they got going on there. I really don't like glossy black for whatever reason. It probably likens back to a lot of cheaper knives and some older cold steels and whatnot that just had this shiny black coating on them that chipped off as soon as you looked at it funny. So those are kind of my thoughts on that. But I still do like a good stonewash, even if it is a darker color than I'm used to. And don't mind the fact that the heel went up way too high on this blade. That was my own dumbass fault. So yeah, we got T6 hardware, except for the pivot screw, which is a T8. And how about if I pop it up and we can take a look on the inside? We got two T6 screws for the pocket clip. And it is inset regardless of which position you have it in, which is nice. Gives it a little bit more stability, especially being backed with that titanium there. Alright, and then we got some more T6 screws here. There's a one. This one's going to spin on me, isn't it? Sure is. Alright, green machine to the rescue. Sheesh. There we go instead. Don't know why that was such a pain in the butt. I probably put it in a little bit tighter than I probably should have last time I did that. Alrighty. Okay, yep. Look at. Let's see if I can't find my little Jimmy tool. Here we are. Just needs a little help opening up. It's a little shy. Okay, well, there's most of it open there. Just have the pivot area, which is proving to be a little kind of a pain in the butt. There we go. Alright, so yeah. We have just straight up micarta with some holes milled in it. Obviously this is a barrel thing. It's still screwed in on this side. I don't really care to remove that. But, yeah, we have the titanium on this side with the hardened steel insert, which is pretty nice to have in general when you're dealing with titanium for liners. You get the blade, obviously nothing going wrong there. This one actually has the bearings not mounted into the blade, but into the handle scales and everything, which is pretty interesting. And yeah, so we can see basically this has a couple of little washers there, and we got the brass caged steel bearings. So hey, threading on bearings. So that's another nice kind of nice touch that they got going on there. Now, what is interesting is that these bearings are riding directly on the titanium here. They do have these two steel washers, but they were both basically spacing out the micarta a little bit. Neither one of them were actually there. So, there's that. But regardless, the action is still pretty nice on it. It's never going to be drop shutty, but I'm perfectly okay with that. It's just kind of a neat little utility kind of knife that has some upgraded specs that you really wouldn't expect for the price. So yeah, this guy doesn't have a D-shaped pivot, obviously. And that being said, it does only go in one way, that being into the micarta side here. Now I'm going to embarrass myself by trying to put all this back together real quick. These knives with the really, really small things are always just a little too fiddly for my gigantic hands. That's alright though. I will go ahead and pull out this guy. This is the pivot. It's got a little small area for going into the titanium. The other side, you can see, is much deeper, and it's a bit rounded off. That's kind of how you can tell that those washers were also designed to be on the micarta side for the proper spacing of it. And that does come into play. I'll show you basically when I put this guy back together that it does create an effect that's a little interesting. Yeah, there's that guy. There's the other one here. close that guy up real quick. And grab the pivot screw. There we go. Now I can toss these other screws back on there. You can see they have a decent amount of Loctite in there, and also by the color, you can tell that came from the factory. That's not me just going super ham-fisted with it. But yeah, I can tighten those up in a second with this, but it's certainly back together. Now, as you can see, it does look a little bit off with the centering. There we go. If I can actually get that correctly going on over here. And it's generally, it's half that it kind of is, and half that it's an optical illusion because the micarta handle side is thicker. But it does, swerve a little bit closer out to the micarta side, and that's just kind of the way that it's designed. I'm certainly not the only one to notice that, as I've mentioned in some other people's reviews and whatnot. This guy feels absolutely crazy thin without the pocket clip on there, so I would suggest keeping it on. I mean, not that many people take them off if they don't really want them. I guess there's always those lanyard people that probably don't need the pocket clip, but yeah. It's pretty interesting budget offering there from Ontario. I do have to say that I'm not super thrilled with AOS 8 steel in general. Just because, I mean, there's a lot of budget knives out there that will use 440C or AOS 8 or whatnot, and and with this guy, I mean, he does have the upgraded titanium and micarta. That's super neat, but you would also figure that they would kind of up that steel a little bit. I'd like to see. Not necessarily D2, but that would probably be their best choice because they already produce the rats in D2. But to see like 14C28N or, something else like that, I guess they could do something like VG10. But, that would require more supply chain stuff because VG10's a Hitachi steel, so they'd have to buy it from Japan. So, yeah, well, I guess in that way, the 14C28N comes from Sweden, and a lot of people use that too. But, oh well. Either way, I would like to see a little bit better blade steel on this guy if they decide to do a different version of it. That would be pretty sweet. But, yeah, that pocket clip, that's deep carry, but not, the absolute most deepest thing ever, is quite good. The finish, as you can see, does kind of wear off a bit, and you can especially see it around the sides of the clip. And I haven't really worn this very much. I've used it quite a bit, but haven't really got it in and out of my pocket all that much. So, I don't mind because it's got that stonewash kind of finish to it. It really wouldn't bother me. But if this was kind of a glossy black, that would immediately kind of look bad to me. So there's that. It's got, nice jimping exactly where you'd want it. Pretty darn comfortable in my hands with the pocket clip there. It's like 3 3/4 of a full grip for me. It doesn't have anything that's super sticking out there, but it is an absolute nice full grip there. And just, pretty useful blade shape, all things considered. Doesn't really have an incredible amount of belly to it, but it does have a bit, so it does help you with a lot of those things. And yeah, like I was saying, the action is, it's never going to be drop shutty, but it is a wiggle shut, and that's most you can ask for Heck, knives probably under $100 or $200 these days. It's it's quite a nice little super light utility kind of thing. Um, I do kind of wish that the micarta was just, I don't know, a little bit different. I mean, I don't necessarily mind the color on it. It's raw. It doesn't really have much in the way of dye going on there. That's fine. I don't know. They might even try to call it OD green, but so many companies do that with micarta, and I've seen very many variants of them, and almost none of them have green. This has maybe a little bit, but it's mostly tan. So yeah, at least that gives you, the option. You can dye it to a lot of different stuff if you so inclined to modify your knives. But yeah, this is one of the first Ontario knives that I've actually picked up myself. Like I've handled plenty of Rat ones and Rat twos. Used them at work. We've in the past we've had a couple of them just kind of sitting around for somebody to grab in the warehouse or whatnot. So I've used them, but I haven't actually owned one myself, which is why I don't have it for the comparison. But I do have the SE Avispa, which basically is the same kind of dimensions and design and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's a pretty decent kit, all things considered. Put together really nice. Nice premium handle materials on it. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a knife somewhere around, I think 3 inch range. Yeah, basically just a little over 3 inches. Then this guy does a pretty darn good job. Well, as always, I've been Jerry, and y'all should have a wonderful rest of your day, yo.